Who is adored by everyone yet is actually a jerk. Carrie Underwood. Years ago I worked at a hotel and she would stay there when in town on tour. She was downright rude and nasty to all the employees and smug like she was better than everyone. She also had a little dog that she let piss poop all over the floors of the rooms she stayed in. She never tipped, either. Edit. On the flip side, Drew Carey is cool as shit. Oprah. She spent decades getting paid by every quack with a pseudo-scientific health product to appear as guests on her show. It's no wonder her apprentices are a dubious psychiatrist and the quack-ass weirdo Doctor Who. Continued her business of using the trust of gullible Americans to sell snake oil. Rachel Ray. Prior to seeing her perform live, I like her show. She was a pretty nasty lady between takes. A lot of you are missing the adored part and just listing dicks. I worked with Eddie Murphy on Imagine That. He's neither funny nor nice. He was such a big asshole to everyone on set. Even the kids. On the contrary though, I also worked with Adam Sandler on a few of his movies and he's the nicest, most genuine, down-to-earth guy. And he's really funny. Before it became public knowledge, I always had to tell people what an asshole Bill Cosby was 20 years ago. He's no longer adored by all. But Mike Love, the singer with the low, nasal voice in the Beach Boys, got away with being an absolute asshole for a lot of years. He was horrible to Brian Wilson. He changed stories to make it seem like several Beach Boys hits were his idea alone. And he tried to dupe us into thinking he was playing the sax solo in the Kokomo video. Kevin Hart. While working as a valet in a large city, I met a chauffeur who drove for a company that drives a lot of high-level celebrities. He said he couldn't have been any more rude, nasty and mean, and I can totally see it. Driver was the nicest guy ever too. Old reference. But Gary Burrowoff aka Radar from MASH. Apparently he was notoriously hard to work with and generally an asshole to the movie and show cast and crew. But his character was so beloved that viewers never thought he was like that. On the flip side, poor Larry Linville Major Frank Burns was known to be an extremely nice guy, but got sneered at and generally treated like crap by the public due to his character in the show. Just goes to show you should separate the art from the artist. Where are Max and Ruby's parents? Naveen Johnson. But it's okay. 'Cause he doesn't need you. Or anybody. Or that ashtray. And the paddle ball game. And the remote control. And that chair. Dave at work. Fuck that guy. People are still playing Chris Brown on mainstream radio like he didn't try to kill Rihanna. Mariah Carey. Chevy Chase is a notorious asshole. He isn't adored that much anymore. But he was the Will Ferrell of the 80s-90s. Tobey Maguire. Apparently he's a massive douche. Charlie Chaplin. He treated his teenage wives with relentless cruelty. Steve Zahn. I worked on a TV show he was on. Complete asshole. Nearly ran me over with his dually truck. A giant beast in downtown Chicago. Christian Slater later apologized for him and told me he would never ride with him again. Slater was very nice. This question needs an explain your answer added to the end. Ariana Grande. Edit. It makes me so sad that simply being hot allows people to be total dicks without criticism. And that goes for celebs, non-celebs alike. I'm not sure if Lea Michele is still adored by anyone. But it's always worth mentioning how much of a jerk she is. As much as I loved him on 30 Rock, Alec Baldwin seems like a self-important prick. Sharon Osbourne. On national television, she laughed about sending a reluctant employee into her burning house to recover artwork. Then laughed about taking the oxygen given to the employee by the rescue services and giving it to her dog. And then mentioned that she sacked him afterwards. What a complete bitch. John Lennon. Neil Patrick Harris. Many people have forgotten that just months after Amy Winehouse died, he hosted a party where he served a cake meat platter in the shape of her rotting corpse. I'm not going to link it because it's actually pretty graphic. Emma Roberts and Ariana Grande. There's been a lot in the celebrity gossip sites, but worked VIP at a certain theme park and another park. They were absolutely worse than Mariah Carey or the Kardashians. There's a huge difference between diva behavior, especially when you know they're known for it, and what they did. Drake. He makes shitty love songs, promotes violence, gang life, and grooms children, aka Millie Bobby Brown. Alton Brown showed up at the culinary academy I was attending. Super nice on camera. Rude. Condescending. Yelling profanity. Putting people down when the camera was off. Why are celebrities always two-faced? With the second face being total asshole. Maya Angelou spoke at my college graduation. Was drunk when we picked her up at the airport. Screamed at us that she deserved a limo. We picked her up in a personal sedan. Brand new. From one of the students. Because we had no budget for a limo. Just a total raging a hole the entire time. Except when she was on the stage speaking. Oprah. J-Lo. Dr. Phil. Uses the mental issues of others for clout and a hefty paycheck. This is not backed by facts at all because he honestly seems so nice and cool. But I had a teacher one time say they met Jim Carrey and he was a complete asshole. But again, that's just one person who I've heard that from, but it doesn't seem that far off. How has nobody said Sean Penn? He hit Madonna over the head with a baseball bat when they were together. Broke into their home when they were on the outs. Tied her to a chair with cable. Cut off her hair and beat her. Also left her there for like 9 hours apparently and came back to continue. Then he forced her to perform sex acts on him. She managed to get away at some point and get to the cops. But she didn't end up pressing charges. I did background on Gilmore Girls a few times. Lauren Graham was a major jerk. She called extras cockroaches out loud and told us to get out of her way. Very rude. I heard Alexis Bledel could be mean too. But I never saw her be anything but nice. Conversely, I was on The Office a few times and the entire cast was always super nice and accommodating. I would have done that show every day if I could have. The food was good. You could say hello to the cast with no issue. I miss it. Jared Leto. H is a predator for young girls, women. Ariana Grande. Dr. Seuss Theodore Geisel. He was a bigot and cheated on his wife who was dying of cancer. She killed herself because of the affair. Eminem. I met him once and he told me if I came to his show, he'd meet me and my little brother afterwards. My brother was only 6 years old at the time and we waited for him for 4 hours in the blistering cold. And then he just said no. I ain't that mad though. I just don't like being lied to. He told me if I wrote him, he'd write me back. I know he got my letters. I wrote the addresses on 'em perfect. I was his biggest fan. I even had the underground shit he did with Scam and have a tattoo of his name across my chest.